Tonight, the Manosphere isn't a movement. It's a multi-billion-dollar grievance industry, remembering the pre-Google web. When search was an experiment, Trump is losing his war on wind power. Microsoft Edge is about to lock out older ad blockers, just like Chrome did. Disney Plus tries a new AI-powered search. Watching Roku's AI channel is like eating from a trough. The gaming site sponsored by Walmart lays off its editorial staff. SpaceX's Terafab will rely on natural gas power plants, not Tesla solar panels. DOGE is wild. Unverifiable savings claims discredited in U.S. government report, and OpenAI puts the brakes on a new model because it's supposedly too powerful. We start with the Manosphere isn't a movement. It's a multi-billion-dollar grievance industry. The Manosphere isn't a movement. It's a multi-billion-dollar grievance industry. For many years now, a dark question has haunted parents, teachers, the internet, and media institutions. What's wrong with young men? Why, people ask, are boys so politically extreme, spouting misogynist rhetoric and increasingly drawn into risky crypto schemes and online gambling? How did they become so lonely, with their depression symptoms often overlooked? The male youth vote broke for Trump in the 2024 election following a GOP campaign built on naked appeals to meathead machismo. Yet there are signs that his second term in office has done little to stem the anger of Gen Z men, whose support for the president is now plummeting. The most common explanation of these interrelated phenomena is that younger men have banded together online under the umbrella of something known as the Manosphere, usually conceived as an organic right-wing rebellion driving the culture wars. A new study, however, suggests that this is entirely backward. The digital ecosystem that produces red-pilled men is less of a movement than it is a pyramid scheme. In the grift economy, how young men are being sold fake belonging and fake wealth online. Researchers from the digital safety organization Reset. Remembering the pre-Google web, when search was an experiment. In the mid-90s, the web was exploding, but finding anything of actual value on it felt like an elaborate negotiation with whatever proto-search engine happened to be standing closest to the door. Unlike now, when Google is widely seen as both portal and gatekeeper, sites like Alta Vista, Lycos, Excite, Hotbot, and Ask Jeeves promise to tame the chaos, each with its own suite of quirks, charms, and flaws. The real story of pre-Google search is not that early engines were inferior. It's that they reflected a different internet entirely, one where directories mattered, crawling was still an art, ranking was fragile, and the idea of search had not yet hardened into a single dominant interface. A different kind of web. The first thing to remember about the pre-Google internet is that there was no built-in assumption that you could search for everything. Many users found pages through Yahoo-style directories, bookmarks, news groups, email signatures, and links from site to site because the web was still small enough that human organization could compete with machine indexing. It was an era of Wild West-style discoverability. Search engines existed, but they were only one part of a large. Trump is losing his war on wind power. On Thursday, a U.S. district court in Oregon ordered the U.S. government to restart the process of approving wind projects. All new wind development in the U.S. has been on hold since August 2025, when the Department of Defense, DOGE, stopped participating in a process that allows it to compel developers to alter projects in order to limit their interference with radar equipment. The court ruled, however, that the DOGE's national security claims did not allow it to opt out of a process that is legally mandated. The Trump administration has made many attempts to block wind development, both offshore and land-based. Its attempts to stop offshore wind included the same approach at issue in this case. Claim that drone developments mean that radar interference by wind turbines creates a national security risk. The courts were not sympathetic to this claim, including in cases where judges examined a classified report that the DOGE was using to justify blocking offshore wind construction. As a result, the administration has turned to paying companies not to pursue wind development. In parallel, the government was pursuing a similar approach for onshore wind. Here, a law lays out a process for the Microsoft Edge is about to lock out older ad blockers, just like Chrome did. Microsoft Edge is ending support for the Manifest v2 extensions platform, which will cut off the uBlock Origin ad blocker and others like it, just like Google Chrome did earlier this year. According to Microsoft, there are only 58 extensions on the Edge add-on store, with any meaningful usage, that still use MV2, and only 3 of those aren't available on the newer MV3 platform. Microsoft Edge is about to lock out older ad blockers. Just like Chrome did, Microsoft's plan for Edge means that uBlock Origin users are losing one of their browser options. Anyone still using these extensions can switch to a different ad blocker, like uBlock Origin Lite. Or they could use a different browser like Opera, which still supports existing MV2 extensions, and says it will continue to do so for as long as it's technically reasonable, or switch to another browser like Firefox. Starting this month, Microsoft says any remaining MV2 extensions will be gradually turned off by default, but users will be notified beforehand. Microsoft plans to finish transitioning all of its consumer users to MV3 extensions by the end of this year before shutting them down for enterprise users in early 2027. Microsoft. Disney Plus tries a new AI-powered search. Disney is testing a new AI-powered tool for Disney Plus that uses a natural language search, a voice query, or a suggested prompt to create a customized row of show and movie recommendations. Disney Plus tries a new AI-powered search. The AI test generates a customized row of shows to help you find something to watch. Disney Plus, like other streaming services, can recommend shows to watch based on your viewing history. But the company says this new tool, which is a limited beta experiment that's in testing with a small group of select subscribers, is intended to recommend content that fits the moment. The feature is the latest in a broader push to offer AI-powered recommendation tools that help you find something to watch among massive catalogs of streaming content. Netflix started testing an OpenAI-powered conversational search tool last year and also has a native voice search feature. Last week, Warner Bros. Discovery announced it is experimenting with a conversational search experience for HBO Max as well. Peacock even recently added an AI Andy Cohen that narrates Bravo clips. In an earnings call this week, Disney CEO Josh D'Amaro doubled down on plans to make Disney Plus. Watching Roku's AI channel is like eating from a trough. The appeal of free ad-supported streaming television, FAST, channels has always been the way they make it easier to discover classic films and series. But Roku's latest experiment in the FAST space has less to do with traditionally produced entertainment and is entirely focused on giving viewers access to a constant source of AI-generated content. Watching Roku's AI channel is like eating from a trough. Startup Fairground wants to win people over with a never-ending stream of slop. This week, Roku added 4 new channels to its library of streamable programming, along with dedicated feeds for old episodes of Mad TV, Whose Line Is It Anyway?, and a variety of black sitcoms. The platform also debuted a 24/7 stream filled with projects from Colin Petrie Norris. AI startup Fairground. Partnering with Roku is a significant step up for Fairground, which launched in 2025 and is reportedly working on its own AI-generated adaptations of Robin Hood and Dracula. But watching the Fairground channel, you get the distinct sense that Roku hasn't really gotten all that much out of the deal aside from the ability to say that it's getting in on the Gen AI craze. Like all fast channels, Fairground. A gaming site sponsored by Walmart lays off its editorial staff. Restart, a games media website launched in late 2024 that was sponsored by Walmart, has laid off its entire editorial team, according to a Friday post from Brandy Berthelsen, the site's former editor-in-chief. Other staffers have also posted about being laid off. The gaming site sponsored by Walmart lays off its editorial staff. Restart's former editor-in-chief says the entire editorial team has been cut. Restart is operated by Moonrock, a content marketing agency, though its editorial mission page says it's powered by Walmart. That page outlines how Walmart is or was involved. When we mention a game, we'll provide purchase links that will take you to Walmart using a partner tracking code. This link provides us with 0% of the sale if you decide to buy the product, but it does help Walmart see exactly how customers arrived at the product. According to that page, Restart operated as an independent site and said that Walmart doesn't influence our editorial direction. According to that page, Restart operated as an independent site and said that Walmart doesn't influence our editorial direction. Basically, Restart was Walmart's take on something like Game Informer, which SpaceX's Terafab will rely on natural gas power plants, not Tesla solar panels. SpaceX said this week that it will build natural gas power plants to supply electricity to the Terafab semiconductor factory it plans to build in Texas, according to a report from Bloomberg. Riley Trettle, who leads energy and data center development for SpaceX, said in a public meeting on Wednesday that his company will be bringing our own power for the project, which will also include very large battery arrays. Notably absent from the Bloomberg report and other SpaceX announcements related to Terafab is any mention of terrestrial solar power for the facility. Tesla, which is also a solar developer, is a partner in the project. Despite his investments in solar power, SpaceX and Tesla's CEO Elon Musk has bet heavily on natural gas lately. The XAI data centers in Memphis run almost exclusively on the fossil fuel. Musk also recently bought a company that specializes in natural gas power plants, and SpaceX has said it plans to buy $2.8 billion worth of gas turbines over the next 3 years. Terafab will be built in Grimes County, which is about 45 miles northwest of downtown Houston. SpaceX, which recently went public in an IPO that raised $87.5 billion, received a 100% tax A. DOGE's wild, unverifiable savings claims discredited in U.S. government report. It won't come as a surprise that Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, didn't save taxpayers nearly as much as it claimed. Analysis from outside the government showed savings claims were heavily inflated, and now the government's own watchdog has said it wasn't able to confirm savings claims made in DOGE's so-called wall of receipts. For example, DOGE reported savings of $49.2 billion from cutting grants, but almost none of it could be verified, the U.S. Government Accountability Office, GAO, said in its report yesterday. The GAO is the auditing and investigating arm of Congress and issued the DOGE report in response to a June 2025 request from Sen's Gary Peters, D-Mitch, and Richard Blumenthal, D-Con. The wall of receipts did not provide sufficient information to verify the method DOGE used to calculate savings, or what the savings consisted of, for 13,553 of the 15,887 grants it reported as terminated. This corresponds to about 96% of the DOGE reported grant savings, the GAO report said. Beyond grants, the GAO concluded that DOGE did not use its stated methodology to calculate most of the savings from contracts it reported as terminated, and that it OpenAI puts the brakes on a new model because it's supposedly too powerful. OpenAI says it is pausing internal activities around an in-development AI model, Astra, because it doesn't yet meet new security standards the company is putting in place. The announcement follows its recent disclosure that OpenAI models accidentally hacked Hugging Face. Anthropic and Meta have also since admitted that they had AI models that went rogue and breached other organizations. OpenAI puts the brakes on a new model because it's supposedly too powerful. OpenAI says its in-development Astra model may have critical cybersecurity capabilities. Recent internal evaluations of an OpenAI model called Astra indicate that it offers significant advancements in agentic coding and cybersecurity, according to the company. These results, in addition to expert assessments, have led us to conclude last night that we cannot rule out critical cyber capabilities under our preparedness framework. Here is how OpenAI defines a critical cybersecurity threshold. Under our preparedness framework, a model reaches the critical cybersecurity threshold if it can identify and develop functional zero-day exploits of all severity levels in many hardened real-world critical systems without human eye. That's all for this news briefing. Thanks for listening. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.